party's Labour Friends of India, when its chairman, Barry Gardiner, who's an MP, sent a letter to Mr. Modi last week inviting him to the House of Commons. Well, Mr. Gardiner joins us from Moscow now for more on that story. Mr. Gardiner, I'm sure you're not surprised that your invitation to Mr. Modi is making headlines here in India. What made you decide to extend this invitation?
Well, quite simply, Narendra Modi is one of the foremost chief ministers of India. He is now the leader of the official opposition party, and of course we're coming up to an Indian election. So it is of enormous interest to British politicians and also the British Indian community about the direction of India and what the future of India will be.
But you also know that he's an extremely controversial figure here in India and around the world. There has been so much controversy over him for years, even in the UK, where there was essentially a boycott of him in a sense until late last year. He's still not given a visa to go to the United States. He is a very controversial figure. You realize this would create controversy.
There has never been a boycott on any Indian politician of any party, and that should be quite clear to all your viewers.
No, but the fact is that the British government wasn't engaging with Mr. Modi after the 2002 riots, and that changed late last year when the British High Commissioner went to see him, when the EU reached out to him. Obviously things are changing. He is a very controversial politician. How would you react to those who will oppose this? Well,
look, it's a matter for the people of Gujarat, who have now re-elected Narendra Modi in successive elections since I think he was first elected in 2001. They have seen fit to restore him to office. It's not for me as a foreign politician to interfere in the democratic process in India in any way. All I know is that he has been extraordinarily in Gujarat. He is Chief Minister of State, with which Britain has done more business in terms of foreign direct investment than the rest of India put together. He has transformed the fortunes of Gujarat, and clearly he is one of the dominant figures on the Indian political stage. But for that reason,
Mr. Gardiner, there are others who will argue, particularly those looking at human rights issues, that the blot of 2002 still hasn't left him. The court cases aren't over yet. He still continues to be very controversial here. Is it only business interests that are going to guide the UK and the EU when it comes to dealing with Mr. Modi? How would you respond to those who will look at his human rights record and bring that up?
Well, if I can answer your question, if you'll allow me that courtesy, it seems that you have absolutely no respect for your own Supreme Court. The Supreme Court of India has looked at those allegations, I believe on a number of occasions, and has always absolved Narendra Modi completely from those allegations. So for you to be bringing them up on Indian television, I find extraordinarily strange.
Well, that's because we are a democracy and we are expected to bring up those issues, Mr. Gardiner, and let me just tell you that the cases legally are not closed yet. Yes, you're right. Well, nothing has been said in a court of law against Mr. Modi. You're right about that. But the cases are not legally over yet, and there's still a big moral question that hangs over him as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Gardiner, for joining us.
You're very keen to talk over me rather than to conduct an interview. But if you think that democracy is best served by not observing the views and the judgments of your own Supreme Court, then I'm most surprised.
Well, we are a democracy that has the right to question even the country's Supreme Court and all courts, and we do often do that, Mr. Gardiner. Thank you for your advice.